On the night of October 13th, 2016, in the city of Birmingham, England, a man went to bed with less than £200 to his name. By the next morning, he was wealthy. No lottery ticket, no inheritance, no business deal anyone could verify. And within that sudden wealth was hidden a secret so dark that it would slowly destroy his family from the inside out. This is the story of Thomas Caldwell, his wife, Eleanor Caldwell, and their only child, Samuel Caldwell. Because this wasn't a story about luck, it was a story about a deal, and the price was a child's soul. What you're about to hear raises one question above all others. What would you give for overnight wealth? Before the money, Thomas Caldwell was invisible. He was 38 years old, working inconsistent shifts at a metal fabrication plant on the outskirts of Birmingham. Layoffs had been coming for years. Hours were cut. Paychecks shrank. By 2016, Thomas and his wife Eleanor were living in a small council flat with peeling paint, drafty windows, and overdue bills stacked on the kitchen counter. Debt collectors called daily. Rent was behind. Electricity had been shut off twice that year. Their only joy was their 7-year-old son, Samuel, called Sam. Sam was gentle, quiet, the kind of child who apologized even when he hadn't done anything wrong. Eleanor tried to stay hopeful. She clipped coupons, skipped meals, told Thomas that things would turn around. But Thomas was cracking. At night, Eleanor would hear him awake, staring at the ceiling, muttering numbers under his breath. He wasn't dreaming of luxury, he was dreaming of escape. On the evening of October 13th, 2016, Thomas came home unusually quiet. He ate little, spoke less. At around 11:47 p.m., he put on his coat. Eleanor asked where he was going. Thomas hesitated, then said, "I just need air." He didn't take his phone, didn't take his wallet. He walked out into the cold Birmingham night. Eleanor assumed he was walking off stress. She went to bed alone. Thomas returned at 3:18 a.m. Eleanor woke briefly. She noticed something immediately. He wasn't tired. He wasn't cold. And his expression was calm. Too calm. Like a man who had already made peace with something irreversible. The next morning, Eleanor's phone buzzed, then buzzed again. And again. Bank notifications. Large deposits. Thousands of pounds. Then tens of thousands. By noon, their account balance had crossed £480,000. Eleanor thought it was a mistake. Thomas didn't. Within days, the rent was paid in full. All debts were cleared. A black luxury car appeared outside their building. Neighbors stared. Friends asked questions. Thomas only smiled. When Eleanor demanded answers, he said, "It's taken care of. We're safe now." Safe, but Eleanor didn't feel safe at all. Thomas began to change. He stopped sleeping, stopped praying, stopped looking at mirrors. He covered reflective surfaces at night, locked his study door. Eleanor found notebooks filled with symbols, circles, inverted markings, things that made her feel nauseous just looking at them. Sam began having nightmares. He said someone watched him while he slept. Someone who whispered his name. Eleanor overheard Thomas talking at night, not on the phone, to someone who wasn't there. Eleanor followed Thomas one evening. He drove to the outskirts of Birmingham, near an abandoned industrial site scheduled for demolition. Locals avoided it. Eleanor spoke to an elderly woman nearby who whispered only this: "Some men don't earn money, they're loaned it." Inside Thomas's study, Eleanor found a folded paper, a contract, no company name, no signatures, just one line burned into the page. Payment due when the child turns 10. Eleanor confronted Thomas. He collapsed, cried like a man drowning. He told her everything. That night in October, he met something in that abandoned building. It offered him wealth, instantly, effortlessly, but not for free. The price was Samuel's soul, to be collected on Sam's 10th birthday. Thomas said he thought he could outsmart it, find a way out, but the money came fast, and the clock never stopped. The consequences? Sam began to change. He stared blankly for hours, spoken voices Eleanor didn't recognize. The house felt heavy, oppressive. The money brought nothing but decay. Thomas became paranoid. Eleanor tried everything. Priests, doctors, counselors. Nothing worked. The entity had been paid in advance. On Sam's 10th birthday, a storm tore through Birmingham. Eleanor tried to run. Thomas stayed behind. Witnesses reported strange lights near the abandoned site that night. No one knows exactly what happened. Only that screams were heard, and then silence. By morning, the Caldwell bank accounts were empty. The family vanished. No records, no trace. The flat was abandoned. And to this day, people still ask, did Thomas sacrifice himself? Did the deal complete? Or is Sam still paying? So I ask you, if you were offered everything overnight, what would you refuse to give?